Real rogues don't use drugs. We're entering our flop era.
Shit's bleak out here. All right.
18 plus. Who wants to get milked?
It's kind of quality we have here at Debate This.
I need the edge. I need what the raw, unfiltered internet can bring you.
This is probably only going to be the third or fourth dumbest thing I've said today.
That's for nobody.
Just out there raw dogging the internet.
Way more hog than I expected.
It's about as much hog as I anticipated.
This is going to be one of those episodes, isn't it?
Here comes the cow. Here comes the cow.
All right, let's get this over with so we can play Magic.
Hello and welcome to Debate This, the show where no one is right, but someone is definitely wrong. In this show, we take time out of our busy adult lives to talk about comic books, video games, and how by the time this episode drops, there's like a very real chance that some YouTuber will have asked Harrison Ford about Hulk pants physics during the Captain America press junket.
Yeah, we'll probably watch that on TikTok like 1,000 times in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, but it's going to be staged. It's like the Paul Rudd Mac and Me clip now. Like they're all in on the joke.
It.
And the magic is gone.
I am waiting for Harrison Ford to say, "What's a Hulk?"
I mean, he's been a good sport because obviously whatever paycheck he's getting is massive.
It's probably helpful
he
that
just
he's getting a lot of
hates
money.
Han Solo. He just hates Han Solo, and he likes everything else he's ever done.
He was asked about, like, you know, they asked him, like, oh, what was the inspiration for doing this? And he's like, I saw other people doing it, and it looked like they had fun. What he didn't say was, and they offered me a dump truck of money.
Yeah, they drove a pickup truck full of $10,000 bills onto my.
I crashed one of my helicopters in 2020, and I needed to settle that bill.
This is helicopter money.
Yeah.
So we started this silly podcast as a place to have just silly jokes over nerdy topics. And somewhere along the way, our questions started veering into this like real life misadventures that we all definitely had that are very real. Whether it was the time that we talked about which X-Men would make the worst roommate or which comic book villain would be the best roommate, both of those episodes are in the show notes. I'm
not letting you get away with
please
where
let me
it says
go.
Episode number here in the show notes.
That I, Todd, definitely didn't look up, but we're going to put them in the show notes, which is great. We've talked about these very real things that we all had to deal with, and we've just kind of turned the show at times into this place to talk about very real issues that we've had that sometimes just involve superpowered individuals. Now, with love in the air and Valentine's Day on the horizon, I've taken it upon myself to call over my good friends to share their stories of what dating was like when you're dating someone in the DC universe.
Well, Todd, good art imitates life. That's all that's happening here.
It's true.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're making good art here on this podcast, actually.
You know, when people talk about our podcast to other people, they do start with the two words good art.
Yeah.
That is, I think, the best way to describe what we do here.
Famously.
So that's right. Today, I'm asking my friends which DC villain would be the best to go on a date with, because they've all definitely done that. And so joining me today is Kyle Kite Man Harper.
Hell yeah.
Matt Crazy Quilt Cole.
Okay.
And Andrew Condiment King Henderson.
These are three supervillains that have absolutely been the middle names before in a podcast.
Yeah, I will be clear. I did not search to see if we've said these middle names before, but these are just top hits when you Google silly DC villains.
I know we've referenced at least two of these three, and I'm going to talk about Kite Man a lot today.
I couldn't give you, what's his name? Calendar Man. I know that's like your special kind of pervert.
Yeah. Calendar Man's my special boy.
Crazy Quilt feels new. I feel like we haven't done.
I think Crazy Quilt is new.
That's when DC did a product placement for Bounty paper towels. Actually,
couldn't
Crazy
say quilted northern.
Crazy Quilt. I happen to read a decent amount about, and it's just a different polka dot man.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
All right.
So guys, you see what we're doing here? We're just a couple dudes circling up, having some brews, talking about like some dates you went on. So
okay, so we're transitioning to which would be the best one and which one was the best one, right? We have transitioned into past tense, yes?
Yeah, this is past tense. You're telling us about a date you went on.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. The best date.
at the top of this, just because, our show has a format and we debate and we pick a winner at the end, what's the metric? What are we aiming for?
How do I win
worst?
today?
Is it best? Yeah. What are we doing?
So I'll answer your question, but
This is a man trying his best.
To go back, it's wild to me that any one of us would have the audacity to ask the question, what are we doing?
Here in season 8.
I love the answer to, hey, what are we doing? Is how dare you?
Yeah. You're not supposed to look that deep. You're not supposed to pull back the curtain that quickly.
Excuse me, my bad.
Cool.
Oh, wait.
The real answer is going to be who tells the best story. That's that's how this goes.
So who has the best pun? Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Man, I'm not pun forward today. Shit.
I'm also not pun forward.
Yeah.
So-
I'm phoning it in today.
Good. Perfect. That's what we love to hear before we start the show.
Got the soundbite.
5 minutes into this recording, we love hearing 25% of the show say they're phoning it in. All right, question 1. Who did you go on a date with? And tell us a bit about them, like where'd they come from, if they're lesser known, and just what caught your eye? What kind of drew you to that person? We'll go ahead and start with Kyle, because he's not phoning it in.
I'm not phoning it in. Yeah, Todd. So let me tell you about the time I went on a date with someone from Batman's Rogues Gallery. And no, not that Batman. I'm talking about Batman Beyond, Terry McGinnis, the Batman of the future. Ooh. I went on this date with Ink of Batman's Rogues Gallery. Let me put a picture here.
And I'm sure that's just spelled normal, like INK.
Nope. INQUE.
Inque? It's French?
It's French.
Inqua?
Ink is a clay face type, but black and slippery as opposed
Inky?
to black and inky as opposed
there it
to
is.
mud and clay-y. Clay and muddy?
Brown and goopy.
Brown and goopy. Well, goopy is I'm going to use the word goopy a lot today, so let's maybe not.
Oh, no, wait.
A feminine clay face, if you will.
A feminine clay face, if you will. Yeah, this is actually, except for Blight, we have Mr. Phosphorus at home. Ink is the second most frequent appearing villain in Batman Beyond.
Wow.
Yeah. She's a corporate spy. She does corporate espionage, as you can imagine, being goopy and without solid form makes it easy to sneak into places and steal things. As for what caught my eye, I mean,
Look at her.
look at her.
This is like Kyle's MBA era of dating a businesswoman who does corporate crimes. Is that what
Yeah.
you said?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, corporate espionage.
I don't know.
We don't like the word crimes here, Matt. It's
I don't know what this figures, like the fact that this person's head is just a blank white circle, says about you as a person.
that's fair. She does have a face. That's more of her like costume.
I won't accept any criticism of what you said yet, because I also had a crush on Alex Mack in the late 90s.
Yeah.
So, I get it.
We all did.
Oh, okay. So she's like a normal person.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
She's like got purple skin.
I mean, who doesn't in Batman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That's fair. I can't wait for the post show when we talk about how good Batman Beyond is. Oh boy, am I excited.
Put a pin in that one.
Yeah. We'll come back to that.
All right, so Kyle is in his corporate espionage, this woman may ruin my life era, and I'm into that.
Yeah. We all had that.
All right, Matt, Kyle brought us Goop. What'd you bring us?
It's not goop. Tell you that. It's not goop. I want to tell you something, Todd, that you've said before on this podcast. At some point in our lives, all of us are destined to fall in love with the cashier at Hot Topic. It's
Accurate.
a Nexus event. That's what Marvel
It's
calls
death,
those.
taxes, and falling in love with the cashier.
And I want to be clear, I said that, but any of us could have said that.
That's true. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we've acknowledged this as absolute fact. This is my story of falling in love with the cashier at Hot Topic. Her name was Ange, and I saw her on the news when she punched Superman in the fucking face wearing a shirt that read "Hurt Me." Hold on, picture incoming.
Hell yeah, dude.
God.
So immediately I was smitten. I mean, a jet black pixie cut, a face tattoo, a chain from nose to ear, and leather from head to toe. It was over before it even started. Most people really aren't that familiar with this character. Her name is Anguish. Most people aren't familiar with her because she only appeared in 2 comics, Superman 9 and number 10 in 2012. This was the new 52 Superman, and fan reception to cover art of a young woman punching Superman in the fucking face definitely caused some anguish.
Nice.
Also, the whole arc of that story is like pretty weak, and originally this character's name was Masochist, but they ditched that pretty much immediately, and all subsequent reprints have named her Anguish. Anyway, she's a metahuman whose body has the ability to phase shift. She spends a lot of time saying, "Nothing can touch me."
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
This woman has rung up an Invader Zim t-shirt for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And let me say it a third time. She punched Superman in the fucking face.
She punched Superman in the fucking face.
I don't know how he ended up there. Like, he can fly.
I don't need to break down the whole story of these 2 comic books, but long story short, Superman just came here from defusing a nuclear submarine and is a little tired. There you go.
He's a little sleepy, so he got punched in the fucking face.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I get that.
She part of a like villain trio, Matt, of like 2 other.
No.
Not the trio of English punks.
Yes.
Okay.
That is a different thing.
Okay.
That is not this thing.
Thank you.
I do love listed in her powers and abilities under super strength. It literally just says sucker punch Superman across the street with the force enough to shatter a concrete wall. They're just very explicit that she punched Superman. That is part of her superpower shtick.
Yep. I mean, if you're going to measure somebody's ability to do something, it's pretty much. But look, we've said before, we're not here to argue whether Goku would beat Superman. I am here to tell you that Anguish punched him in the fucking face.
I mean, look, Lex Luthor could never.
It's true.
He wishes. He's too busy worrying about his 40 pies. Okay. I see the energy that we're going with so far. Curious to see if Andrew brings the trifecta of this. Gonna go ahead and pass it over to Andrew. Andrew, tell me about who'd you go on that date with?
Look, Todd, I think everybody knows this about me. I think being passionate and talented in really specific things is attractive and very cool. And that is what drew me initially to Lisa Snart, aka the Golden Glider.
What's that last name again?
Snart, which is not a great last name. That's not a great name at all.
That's the cat thing from He-Man, right?
That is the cat thing from He-Man, Kyle.
That's Snarf.
It's the cat thing from He-Man. Snart is the thing that I've been doing all day when I've got a little bit of phlegm in my throat and I laugh at something funny.
Yeah, it's when you sneeze really hard and then fart a little bit.
So Lisa's a figure skater by trade, and that's like kind of her whole personality and identity and kind of like the whole thing that she's known for. So her whole deal started when Roscoe Dillon, aka The Top, a man who, I'm not kidding, attempted to destroy up to half the world with an atomic top.
Like a spinny top?
Like a spinny top.
Okay, all right.
Perfect. No further questions, Your Honor. Roscoe Dillon died as a result of his injuries suffered in many battles with the Flash, because The Top, among some of the other people we're going to talk about today, are all Flash villains, which means they're very silly. So The Top had been coaching Lisa on skating, but the two had also been dating in secret, which in retrospect is a first red flag.
Yeah, you never do a skating date.
In response to Roscoe's death, Lisa had vowed revenge on the Flash, and she put on an orange ice skater's outfit, mask, and a pair of experimental ice skates that are able to create their own ice flow behind them, like Iceman.
Okay,
That's
okay.
Where did she get those skates? Yeah, like Frozone or Iceman. Where did she get those skates? No more questions, Your Honor. But this allows her to basically skate on air, aka fly.
Luna Frost is actually the colloquial reference now.
Well, nobody knows who that is, Matt.
Well, I would beg to differ.
Only the perverts who play Marvel Rivals. Get at me in the comments. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so Lisa and her brother Leonard, aka Captain Cold, would go on to do crimes until...
Leonard Snart,
aka Captain Cold.
Yeah, that's pretty unfortunate.
The Flash has a lot of ice-based villains. Rogues Gallery.
He does have a lot of ice-based villains because Lisa was actually murdered by...
to go fast.
Because you need friction to go... I guess, ice represents slowing and stopping.
That's fair. All right.
You need friction to go fast. That's the only thing that stops go fast.
Lisa was actually ultimately murdered by a third cold-themed villain called Chillblaine. So you may be asking, well, how did you go on a date with Lisa Snart? Well, Todd, that is because in the New 52 continuity, Lisa is alive, her death is retconned, and also she didn't get her powers from mysterious skates. Instead, she's also a metahuman, blank, blank, blankety blank. So, in the New 52, it has Lisa dying in the hospital of a brain tumor.
Oh,
Cool.
Whoa.
Yep, that's just we start there. So her brother is so distraught that there's not enough energy in the hospital to save his sister because of some like EMP because of the Flash. I don't know Flash comics. So he sets out. So he throws his fist up in the air and says, "I'm gonna get you, Flash." And then I looked and couldn't find how, but some sort of mysterious accident happened where Leonard and Lisa, in addition to Heatwave, Weather Wizard, and Mirror Master, all got powers and turned metahuman.
sure.
All right.
I really searched hard to try to find what and when the accident was. Couldn't tell you. But what I can tell you is that after this particular accident, Leonard formed this group of metahumans and called themselves the Rogues, which is an organized team of D-list supervillains that just do crimes together, kind of like a West Coast Justice League. Now, more like an alpha flight Justice League, where you get it. So notably, Leonard also developed, this is very cute, Leonard developed a code with which the Rogues must live by, which includes they must never kill anyone unless they absolutely have to, and also they can't use drugs.
The Comic Code Authority ass rules around here.
Because the Rogues are drug free, and that's how they choose to be.
Real rogues don't use drugs.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Real villains
edge
don't
culture
use
needs to be stopped.
use drugs.
I recognize that I went off the rails a little bit, but I felt like I really needed to share the backstory of the Rogues with you guys because I just find this very fun and wholesome.
I love because like New 52 isn't new, like new quote unquote.
Yeah,
like
it's, what is it,
it's
12 years old?
fairly
2012.
It's really funny that that's a data point, and they're like, and
Yeah.
also they don't do drugs.
And also, they don't do drugs.
It's about as old as like Flashpoint was when New 52 was happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. It's a good thing you brought it up because I was over here believing that Chillblaine was actually the Batman villain after he started smoking weed. But it's good to know that he can't.
Well,
be
Chillblaine is the
Turns that
Chillblaine
mask
killed.
into a hotbox mechanism. Yeah.
He's hanging out with Chill Penguin. No, Chillblaine killed Lisa Snart, so he's not part of the Rogues. So
well, that's
he's
probably
allowed to,
because he does drugs. It was
he's allowed to go
probably
do. He's allowed to
reefer
go do a weed.
madness. Yeah.
I do want to be an actually nerd for a second. It's Chillblaine.
Oh, it's even
So
better.
it's not even Bane. It's the name Blaine with the word
just
chill in
Chill
the front of it. So could just be a dude
Yeah.
named Blaine who's kind of chill.
There is definitely somebody's dealer that in someone else's phone is named Chillblaine.
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 Every college campus has a fraternity member named Chillblaine. That's their nickname is Chillblaine.
It's definitely there is a man who has been met via Hinge or Bumble who is in someone's phone as Chillblaine.
Yeah.
How's your date with Blaine? Oh, you mean Chillblaine? We got
I
it.
think we're good. Well, I guess I have been watching Glee, so it could just be that kid from the second and third season of Glee. But that's all I got for you.
Chillblaine. Great. Got the Glee reference in question one, which is great. So let's move on. You've given me this kind of like good prompt of who you went on the date with. Kyle said it best to start with. We don't need to talk about crimes. Crimes is like pigeonholing someone's whole shtick. That's a perspective thing.
We all make mistakes.
Yeah, I feel like we've also all three sold these people as crimes are good things. So
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
we're crime positive and drug negative here.
But obviously villains do have flaws. But you know what? Like we can fix them. We can fix them. So what are maybe some of the lesser known redeemable qualities of this villain that you went on a date with? Go ahead and start with Kyle.
Yeah, Todd, I've got a few just right off the bat. First of all, corporate espionage. I mean, she's driven. She has a career path. She's upwardly mobile, making money for herself. She's an independent woman. I love that. Second, this is a not well-known fact about Inc. She is a single mother. She has a child, does a lot of her corporate espionage to care for that child, and we love that. We're all here for it. We support that. Just to make this real brief and real clear, don't have a good way to say this, but this is the screenshot from Batman Beyond I've been waiting to share with you guys.
Whoa! 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 This is a family show, Kyle.
It is decidedly
behind a
not.
paywall,
It is
so it's
decidedly
fine.
not a family show, Matt.
Holy smokes!
Can you so real talk, if you subscribe to our Patreon at the $10 tier, you get to see this. Kyle, can you describe what is on our screen that we didn't consent to?
Paint me an audio picture.
You're going to need to pixelate this too.
And then can you put this in the Patreon with no context?
No, none at
Just
all.
see what happens.
This is Batman of the future, Terry McGinnis, getting what I can only call inked, where Ink is trying to kill him using her inky body to suffocate him. And the shot is
from the inside out.
From the inside out. She is shoving something down his throat. We'll leave it there.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't remember that scene from The Secret World of Alex Mack, but you know.
This is on Kids WB. You didn't even need a cable subscription to see this.
And it was on Kids WB like
In the morning.
15, 20 years ago.
There is somebody our age out there whose like mom walked in when this was
on
on.
this scene.
And they were famously never allowed to watch TV again after that.
Ever
incident.
again. Yeah.
There's a Reddit that is like funny photoshops where they usually take like wild situations and Photoshop other things. Then there's also the darker side of Reddit where they like have Photoshop porn to be innocent. And this is somewhere in between those two things. And I'm not sure.
This is
Not sure what this is.
This is definitely someone on the production team going, let's see what we can get by the censors.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's got big Ren and Stimpy energy.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Hey, Matt, can you go so I can scroll down from my notes and not have to look at that anymore?
Yeah, Todd, happy to. Look, whomst among us hasn't fallen in love with a little bit of RBF, you know? There's just something about looking at somebody you care about and them looking back at you like they fucking hate you every day. There's just something about it that's hard to get away from. And that rough, albeit untouchable exterior was all created by familial trauma. That's the thing about Anguish. Her dad was MIA. Her mom died in a house fire. Her stepdad was abusive and eventually kicked her out. Not only that, but he like stole a locket containing the only remaining picture of her mother, apparently just to be a dick. That locket is the reason she punches Superman in the face. That's why I brought it up.
Did Superman take the locket? Is that why she punched Superman?
It was in a safety deposit box, and we're not talking about crimes here. Anguish may have put in
it's her locket.
Yeah.
some extra effort to get into that safety deposit box, to which Superman took great offense and tried to intervene.
Feels like he just didn't know the whole story.
Exactly. He didn't know the whole story. And that's the thing, you know, we all of us have familial trauma, and we can all learn, grow, and become better people through that familial trauma, through the process of therapy and other types of interventions. Again, this is a no drug space as said by the Rogue Code. So, you know, everything's cool and chill
Debate
here.
this applies and lives by the Rogue Code.
Yeah.
And the thing about somebody like Anguish is that she's kind of like Rogue from Marvel, where she hasn't had a lot of physical touch in her life because things just phase right through her. So she is an incredibly deep thinker and an incredibly, you know, totally normal, insane person who's never been hugged and loved. It's all fine. And sometimes she likes to put cigarettes out in the palm of her hand, but they phase through and they just burn holes in the couches. But it's cool. Again, you know, these are the love stories we tell.
I'm going to say this and provide no further context. I see why you picked her. I get it.
Yeah, man.
Nothing to add to that, but I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just sounds like a confusing situation. Superman didn't have all the information. Plus, she was retrieving her own locket from what I presume is her rightful lockbox. So, yeah, that's fine.
Exactly. From a guy who was definitely dead in the first place. So what's it even matter?
Yeah. Is it a crime to break into your own house if you lost the key? No. Like, that's all this was.
And even if I take something that is yours and I put it in a safe, is it a crime to break into that safe?
It doesn't make it not mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This character absolutely is a character that was written for issues 1 through 4 of an X-Men comic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this character is quintessential 2012. We need a nameless person for Superman to beat up in 2 issues. Like, that's it.
We need to show how trauma hits a superpowered individual to make them just a little bit complex, but also they're going to punch Superman in the fucking face.
And the thing about, look, I'm not gonna blame this on Anguish as a person, but I'll blame it on the people who created her character. The writing is bad, and there is no showing instead of telling. It is all telling, and it's telling as Anguish is beating up Superman. She's like, "You don't understand, Superman. My mom died in a house fire."
Oh my God.
It's pretty bad. I read the comic. It sucks.
Which, can we also compartmentalize that? Superman's whole planet was blown up. Like,
Yeah.
All right, I get it.
We all get it.
Yeah,
we all get it.
yeah. Andrew, what are some of the lesser known redeeming qualities of Golden Glider?
So here's the thing, like Golden Glider didn't get a ton of personality fleshed out in her original appearances in the comics. She kind of started as this like jilted lover seeking revenge, kind of very one note, to then nearly being fridged by brain cancer in order to build a backstory for a man. Another one note. But as it's done for a lot of the D-list DC villains, the Max show, Harley Quinn has helped to relitigate Golden Glider as a character. Have any of you watched Harley Quinn? I know I've
not watched this season yet.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
a little bit.
None.
Okay. So you guys are familiar that Kite Man is a big character in Harley Quinn.
Yes.
He's Kite Man. He's got the power of having a kite strapped to his back. And his whole thing is like, he's a bro. And he's like,
he's the best.
constantly be like, hell yeah, he is the best. He's the best character. So in the first 2 seasons, Kite Man and Poison Ivy are together and eventually get engaged. And then the big, like, spoilers, the big end of season 2 is that Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn finally get together. So in season 3, Golden Glider is introduced as Kite Man's new girlfriend. And she's only on a couple episodes. It's very much like just like a quick joke. When Kite Man got a spin-off show earlier this year, it's called Kite Man. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it is.
It rules. It's so good. But the whole bit is that Kite Man buys a bar and owns a bar with a bunch of just like other DC goons.
Hell yeah.
Golden Glider, hell yeah. But Golden Glider is there as Kite Man's very supportive girlfriend and also co-owner of the bar, that bar that they buy from Lex Luthor. So Kite Man is his usual, like, kind, thoughtful, if not lovable goofball. And the reason why he and Ivy don't really work is like Ivy is very serious, very insecure, and just like can't match his energy. But Golden Glider totally can. She matches the frat bro energy. They build each other up. It's a very like loving relationship. They're great. Well, now Kite Man obviously has no business being a villain at all because he's got the power of Kite on his back. But Golden Glider like totally backs him up. She's like, Golden Glider has all of these abilities. I'm going to throw in an image here in the chat. Please hold. Please hold. Please hold. I wasn't ready.
She was also in the Flash TV show.
Yeah.
She gets a gun.
That show ran for 9 seasons. They needed every member of the Rogues Gallery they could get.
They had to bring everybody.
They could only show Gorilla Grodd in 1 every 12 episodes, and when he's trying to kill Barack Obama in the past.
So in the show, Golden Glider is also like a huge badass when she fights with her skates. So she like in one of the opening scenes of the first episode, like she's fighting a band of goons and she's like doing like figure skating moves and slicing guys' necks slitting guys' necks across the throat. It's pretty awesome. She also has a thing where she turns into like a light projection and these like eldritch tentacles come out of her body. And that's a whole other thing that's part of her abilities from the New 52.
Sure. Okay.
Again, unclear where it came from and what the accident was, but that's a thing that she can do.
We are just so far away from she has ice skates that let her skate on the air.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
So all of this is to say, when she came over to me at the other night and said, "Hey, my boyfriend and I saw you across the room and we really like your vibe," I immediately agreed to go home with them.
Awesome.
And that is the beginning of my throuple night with Kite Man and Golden Glider.
Oh, Kite Man.
How much kite was there?
Could have been more. A lot, but I would have had more.
But he's all man, Kyle. Want to make that clear.
He's all man, all kite. Hell yeah.
Oh, okay. You know what? This feels right. Typically at this point, I'm like, oh no, why'd I ask these questions and I got these answers? No, this is kind of what I expected, and this is fine. I'm good with.
We all have things we regret in our past, and we reckon with that.
Yep.
Doesn't sound like the throuple with Kite Man and Golden Glider is one of those things that we.
Did I say I regretted it?
No, that's what I'm saying. All man, mostly kite. Let's keep going though. I do want to hear like the main event, the juicy stuff. Tell me how that date went and like what special touches made that just a night to remember.
Yeah, Todd. So she picked the place. Ink picked the place. We had a wonderful candlelit dinner on the rooftop of Wayne Towers. It was incredible. The food was delicious. How she got us up there, I don't know. But I will say what made it a night to remember is I have never before or since had a date end in running away from the cops because we broke into Wayne Towers to get to the top of that roof.
That's sick.
But up until that, it was lovely. Wonderful conversation, fantastic view. Couldn't have been better. Could have done with not getting chased out of the building by cops and leaping from a skyscraper only to be saved by my goopy date's powers of gooping.
I mean, what is a night out with a Batman villain if not running from Gotham's finest?
Yeah.
True. Fair enough.
I get that. You can't what is it? You can't make an omelet without cracking some goopy eggs.
We need some excitement in our life. Yeah.
What about you, Matt? How was that date with Anguish, Ange, as you said?
Yeah, right. It's better with 3 letters instead of all of the letters.
Yeah, all the letters are worse than the 3.
Here's the thing. I learned from her little tussle with Superman that the molecular density of Anguish's body changes in phases with whatever you need it to be. Unless, seemingly, if you surprise her enough. If you catch her off guard, it seems as though her body doesn't phase, as made famous by Superman defeating her by exploding out of the earth and making an earthquake. And then, because he knew she was just going to come back and punch him in the face again, he was like, wait, don't punch me in the face. I used my heat ray vision to fix your locket. It's not broken anymore. And then Anguish chills out. And that's how that comic ends. But the date that we had was a lot of me slyly attempting to like, oh, well, let me brush my hand across your hand, or let me, just bump into you a little bit. You know, it was a very, like, we were hanging out. We went out to get like boba tea at the mall, but I don't know that we really clarified that it was a date or like if she was just on lunch from Hot Topic. And so I did a couple of like, you know, drive-bys on trying to hold a hand. And I'll tell you what, I felt something, Todd. And I think that I am on my way, or I think I was on my way. I thought I was on my way at the time. That's the tense we're doing this in.
Yeah,
I thought I was on my way at the time to a long-term and loving relationship. And then she said, my 15's over. I've got to go back. Some kid vomited in the bathroom. But
brutal.
The next date we had went pretty much the same way. And the third date we had went pretty much the same way. And then she transferred to a different store and I don't see her anymore. But it was a great relationship.
I've got a question, but I've also got a statement before the question. The statement first being, Superman, the man with every power, solving an issue with a villain through the power of friendship fucking sucks. I hate that. The other thing I was going to ask, so you said you have boba tea. Presuming that she's not surprised by each boba that comes through the tea, how'd that go? Is it just like phase straight through her and plop to the ground, just a pile of boba on the floor? Or,
So
what are we
again,
looking at?
This character existed in 2 comics. The science is not sound. It's basically that her body phases to be, quote, whatever density it needs to be, but she doesn't
Perfect.
really have
Yeah.
control of it. It's the
That's
same way that,
nothing.
like, she wear clothes, like just normal ass human clothes, and they don't
Yeah.
fall through her or anything. Like, it's, yeah, exactly. It's not anything.
I do love that though, that like a creator had to be like, hey, how do we explain this? Yeah, okay, fine. It works however it needs to work. Shut up. Put her in 2 comics. Let's go.
Exactly. Yep.
Well,
That's
and,
pretty
like,
much it.
It does what it needs to do. Would explain why it's like the phasing is a defense mechanism, but it doesn't explain why like she's never been hugged.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's like kind of her whole thing is like,
Right.
you know, nobody's ever been able to touch me and I feel nothing.
Yeah.
But that's not how it's really shown to work in the comic.
Yeah, that's
either.
not how your powers work, bro.
Yeah, it's very,
Yeah.
very loose.
That's the
Yeah.
beauty of a character that only shows up for 2
Right.
issues is
Right.
you don't have to explain anything.
Yeah.
Andrew, what do you got for us?
Yeah, Todd. I mean, look, our Brotastic Thurple night honestly started out great. Kite Man heard about a flip cup tournament at a local bar down the road. So the 3 of us entered with Kite Man, of course, being the anchor. We ran circles around those towny barflies. Competition was there, but we kept it real light, real breezy. Things, however, started to turn when a local gang showed up, got a little bit too rowdy, a little bit too heated. They started cussing out me and Kite Man. And so that's when Golden Glider stepped in and was like, hey, and then just, took care of the situation. She just straight up decapitated one of the dudes with a triple axle. So,
Whoa.
yeah, whoa. So that was the point that we had to politely drop out of the tournament. Now, outside of the bar, Golden Glider was like, hey, there's a really good food truck nearby. We should go get some cheesesteaks. So we did, and it was great until the goons from that gang showed up. Ah, dang. Apparently, they were following us the whole time. Had we not stopped for cheesecakes, maybe we would have gotten away, but, them's the break. So Kite Man, having finished his first, stepped in front of the 2 of us to defend us, but unfortunately was no match for the head goon because Kite Man is sadly just a kite on top of a man.
He's just man.
He's just man. And he got sucker punched right in the jaw. I dropped my sandwich to go, rush down and help Kite Man. And then either of us didn't notice Golden Glider start to change. We kind of out of our peripheral vision, we saw a bright shimmering light and saw Golden Glider hovering right above us, glowing this like bright yellow orange and just like wailing like a banshee. And suddenly these dozens of tendrils come out of her body full of like glowing yellow light, just whipping around chaotically. Kite Man grabs the back of my head and goes, get down. We just hear, as we're like lying prone on the ground, we hear horrified screams cut short by what sounds like meat being torn through a grinder. Then the feeling of blood just showering on our backs, entrails going everywhere as those tendrils of light slice through the men like a hot knife through butter. And then all of a sudden things went quiet. We look up and there she was, Golden Glider, just looking both of us, breathing heavily, and just simply said, let's go home. And then we did. We walked that very long, very quiet walk back to their place. Yes, question, Kyle.
Andrew, I think Kite Man drugged you. I think Kite Man spiked your drink.
No. We're very clear that
We're
there's no
very clearly
drugs in the
drug-free,
robes.
Kyle.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Is Kite Man a part of the Rogues?
He's not. That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Oh,
I think Kite
Yeah,
Man spiked
could
your
have been a
drink.
sleeper.
Andrew.
well, I was going to say maybe those ne'er-do-wells from the bar were on the drugs, and that's why
Well,
they wanted to do
See,
the crimes.
and that was
Yeah.
my thought going in because so here's the thing. The night didn't end there. What's more wild about anything I just said is that incident is not why I stopped seeing them. Not at all, actually. It was later that night when we went back to their place. Things got a little hot and heavy after we cleaned up all the goon guts off ourselves. Turns out I'm not a thruple guy.
Oh,
Couldn't perform.
That's just what it was.
yeah, there you go.
Not a thruple guy.
Well, hey, at least you had fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great time.
Learn
Cheese sticks
something
are really
about
good.
yourself in the process.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Did you say cheese sticks were good?
yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's what Kite Man said.
Good way to say hell yeah. I don't know how to get to this, but there's definitely in the back of my head just, hey, what What that kite do is a phrase that's stuck in my head that I have to say out loud. Okay. Yeah, these are three very different dates. Yeah, very different dates with very different outcomes. I do have to decide who had like the best story here, but before I make that decision, I got one more question for you as we're having this little rap sesh here around the island in my kitchen, I guess.
Sure.
Obviously, yeah, sure, that's it. It's just dudes being dudes talking about Kite Man. Obviously, things didn't work out. You know, they just never can with the bad boys like this and bad people.
Baddies was right there, Todd.
Baddies was right there. I'm gonna take it clean. Matt, leave this in. Obviously, things didn't work out. They never can with the baddies. Tell us what happened. And
Ooh, that was really good, Todd.
it was good. I got that in one. Tell us what happened that led to this not working out. And then what was the grand gesture they tried to like win you back over? How'd they show up outside of your window with a boombox? And we'll get that answer when we come back from this break. All right, so we're back. Obviously, things just can't work out. So you know, it's with the baddies like this, you just can't always win. So what was the thing? What happened? Why didn't it work out? And what was the grand gesture that they tried to win you back over? And we'll start with Kyle.
Yeah, Todd. So I decided after I fell 20 to 30 stories off of Wayne Tower before being Spider-Man swung away by my date that I was not ready to be in or adjacent to the high risk, high reward lifestyle of corporate espionage. So I politely ended things. That next morning, I woke up, walked into my bathroom to find a note on the mirror. But the note wasn't just like a Post-it or, you know, like smudged in the fog. It was some black ink, some black goop. And after I read it, it kind of attacked me. I was able to like wash it down the sink and it was fine. But that happened for a month on and off after that, until finally it just stopped. I think following her getting frozen by Batman, but I'm not entirely sure. But it never happened after that.
It does strike me that the way Batman would deal with a goopy villain is just, I'm gonna freeze it.
Freeze it.
Like, that feels like whenever he's probably defeated Clayface, it's been freezing or melting.
The 4 episodes of Batman Beyond I watched with ink in it, 2 were freezing and 2 were washing down a storm drain. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Love that. What about you, Matt?
Yeah, like I said, I went on a couple of dates with Ange, and I really felt like there was something there. You know, I would wait until it was like just the right time for me to brush my shoulder up against her when she was in line at Panda Express. And, you know, sometimes I would kind of brush my hand under her hand when she was taking my credit card at Hot Topic. And I really felt like there was something there. I felt like I could feel her. And then one day she was gone. I went to the mall expecting to see my girl and she wasn't there anymore. I asked what happened. They said she moved to another store. And it was probably only about 2 months later. And I'm pretty sure Ange got really tired of not seeing me and really missed me because guess what? She came back and, you know, she didn't transfer to another store. They just needed somebody to fill in as assistant manager across town. But she was gone for too long. And there's a new girl flipping pretzels at Annie Ann's. And I think I have a chance.
The plot that you're selling right now is awesome. This
Thanks.
is great. This is great.
It's really good.
Andrew, what about you?
Sure, yeah. You know, so ever since I left, kind of hanging my head in shame, Kite Man and Golden Glider have both texted a few times. Kite Man first tried to get me to come over and watch Fast and the Furious marathon. Golden Glider was like, hey, let's just take a jujitsu class together. And honestly, like, I needed some time. I needed some time before I saw them again. But I will say, I just so happened to enter another Flip Cup tournament, and they also just so happened to be a part of it. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Where are you finding all of these?
I live in a very cool city full of cheesesteak food trucks. and fun local bars.
Flip
Philly?
cup tournament on every
And
corner.
that do flip cup tournaments.
You live in Philly?
I think I kind of live in Philly.
That's got layers.
Deep in Flipadelphia, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I want to live in Philadelphia right now. Is that weird?
Yeah, that's weird. You should call a doctor, actually.
You should look deep within yourself.
I might be going through something.
Philadelphia is basically Gotham City, so,
Kinda, yeah.
This is wonderful. I appreciate the recaps that you've all given me today. While I decide which one of you told the best story, because I think that's the premise we decided on earlier, because Matt called me to the carpet and I had to have an answer. So go ahead and pitch me just like your closing statement of how the date went, how you feel, whatever feels right, and I will make a decision from there.
yeah, Todd, it's real simple. Just because she's a corporate criminal does not mean she's not a wonderful, caring MILF.
So ready for that? Matt?
I needed a minute. Sorry.
Yeah, man.
Look, it happens to all of us. One day, a person goes from the younger version of their gender to the older version of their gender. I was going to say boy to man, but I think it's relevant gender no matter what. You always go from child to adult when you fall in love with the cashier at a Hot Topic. It happens to all of us.
It's pivotal. It's a nexus point in everyone from the Midwest.
Golden Glider is a lovely human being, very talented skater, talented figure skater, a loving and supportive friend, girlfriend, and sister, and an independent business owner. And anyone would be very lucky to enter into a bigonymous relationship with her and her partner.
What was that word one more time?
I think it's bigonymous, like monogamous, but bigonymous.
I think bigonymous is the shape of the kite.
I think bigonymous is what old prospectors say when they strike gold.
Oh, that's better.
Okay. While I decide, whatever, fuck it. Go ahead and give each other some good vibes.
Yeah, Matt, you brought the token Hot Topic girl. It seems every one of these episodes has the token Hot Topic girl, and you did it. I like that you went with one that has punched Superman in the face and doesn't have enough backstory to give us anything to poke holes through. So, good job. Andrew, I love the thruple angle of your answer. I love bringing Kite Man into this. Just to bring Kite Man into it.
I mean, really, why not, right?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hey, look, if I'm going to share a cuck chair with somebody, it's probably be Kite Man.
It's a big chair. It doesn't have a back.
Why are you both in the chair?
We got to take turns.
Yeah, Kyle, I am so impressed that you sat on this screenshot for the week of our production schedule that it took to record this episode. Because had I found this screenshot or one akin to it, I wouldn't have waited. I had a hard enough time waiting on this screenshot of Anguish in the Hurt Me shirt, and you blew me out of the water.
I have practiced so much more restraint this week
It's really impressive.
than I have in my entire life.
Yeah, I really love it. I also really like ink as like, I don't know, it's what if Clayman was like a little more viscous. I think that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Or Clayface. That's great.
Clayman, Clayface, whatever.
Yeah. Andrew, Golden Glider is such a fun pull. Like, I love the DC villains that have gotten more and more fleshed out and beloved for what they were as kind of a silly thing to begin with. I think that's a really fun answer. I think it's weird that you've determined you want to live in Philly. I am a little bit worried about you.
It's weird. I have to commend the both of you for taking what is virtually nothing as far as like lore. Like, I at least had like a sideshow on Max. You guys both did a really good job of like, again, just creating something out of what is virtually nothing. Kyle, weird pictures aside, you did a really good job with we have Sandman at home, especially because like I feel like Marvel tries so hard to make Sandman seem like this like impenetrable force. And like DC's like, no, you just freeze her. It's fine.
Freeze. Yeah,
like,
she's got like
she's all right.
She's got like 4 weaknesses.
Yeah.
And she keeps coming back. It's great.
Yeah.
I love
like,
it.
I love just to be kind of like a dime store Catwoman. Like great, good stuff. Good stuff. Matt, on a similar vein, like you took the lemon that is those 2 issues of Superman and created a whole personality out of that character. We've already kind of poked holes in how flawed the logic is of her powers, but I really like the angle of like she's just the goth girl from Hot Topic, and that speaks to me, and it speaks to all of us, I'm sure, in a very similar way. So great job, both of you.
I don't want to repeat all the things that you all said, but like fantastic. That for any number of reasons, any of you could be the winner of the best story, but I have to choose one of you who I think paints a picture of like the person in 2025 that we all strive to be with. And so I am going to say just some special call outs here. Andrew, I love that you picked a villain that had a run, wasn't good. And then they're like, okay, what if we bring her back and give her light projection astral form that can
And brain
decapitate
cancer.
people? Yeah, with ribbon-like tendrils. Like, awesome. Also,
Sure,
anytime the Flash has a cold-themed villain, it's great. Matt, I also do love that you, without her ability to phase, this is just the edgy Hot Topic cashier that we all did fall in love with. I do want to be clear. We've all met this person. The winner, though, today is going to be Kyle, because I want to say why. Kyle described someone that we all would strive to want to have our partner be in 2025. Someone who is fiercely independent, someone who has goals and they're driven,
And has no face.
and someone who wants to commit crimes against major corporations. And so I think that is something that I admire and I want. So Kyle, you are the winner today. That just feels right.
I want to thank all my fans.
So that will bring us to the end of this episode. So thank you for listening in to Debate This. You can follow along with the arguments on Threads, Facebook, kind of, Instagram, and Blue Sky eventually. I don't know, at Debate This Cast or on our website at debatethiscast.com. And hey, listen, do you love Debate This content, but you wish there was just like more ways to interact with us nerds and to interact with us and nerds like us? You can join our Patreon at patreon.com/debatethiscast and just give us a crisp $5. Just a crisp $5 gets you in the door, and you can get access.
It's like having your own Debate This cuck chair of your very own.
I like that a lot less.
That line wasn't in the copy. I do want to be clear, that line's not in the copy, but we can't take it out.
It
now.
will be going
But
forward.
it will be moving
In
forward.
perpetuity. For $5, you can get your own Debate This cuck chair and get access to our Patreon exclusive Discord, where you can find goofums like this. You can find a place to talk about recent episodes, and there is a Cursed Images channel that we do flash a permission warning as you go to enter for the first time. So, sounds like fun. Until next time, I'm Todd Thomas.
I'm Kyle. Why is everything covered in goop, Harper?
I'm Matt with the power of gooping. Cole.
And I'm Andrew, sitting on the cuck chair until it's time to strip Adelphia Henderson.
And we're saying thanks for debating with us. And if you think we're wrong, you can come fight us behind the swing sets, nerds.